Digimon gaming news, more Fire Emblem Engage drops, and a fantastic trailer for one of the most anticipated JRPGs of all time. All of that and more today on the JRPG News Corner. Welcome gamers and JRPG enjoyers, this is your JRPG News Corner, and let's get right into it because we have some amazing things to get through today. First off, as usual, we'll be going through the quick news, so let's go through it quite quickly. There's not a lot here, but there are things. First and foremost, Record of Agares War is coming to Switch in 2023. They will be porting that game over. From what I saw, it's kind of a strategy RPG with a very basic grid system, and maybe it's a waifu game simulator. I don't know. It's weird. It looks not my cup of tea, but it's coming to Switch, so if you're a fan of this older game, then feel free to check it out. After that, Valkyrian Arc Hero School Story 2 will be pushed back to 2023. The RPG meets a school building simulator was planned to release at the end of 2022, but the devs have recently announced that they are having to push it back, so if you were waiting for this game, you'll have to wait a little bit more to come out at the start of 2023. And the last little bit of the quick news here, Square trademarks Ember Storia and Saga Emerald. So a lot of people are speculating what that might mean. Maybe we're going to see a new game from Square, maybe new JRPGs from Square in the Saga series, but there's not much more than that except that they trademarked those two properties. All right, moving on to major items. I really wanted to get there quickly because there's some really cool stuff that I'm so excited about. First and foremost, Digimon World Next Order is coming to the Switch and PC on February 22nd, 2023. Oh my god. So if you guys know me, you know I've played through the Digimon World 3 game. There's a whole playlist on the channel, and I did it over on my Twitch channel, and people kept talking to me about Digimon World's Next Order. Never had a chance to play it, never got my hands on it, but now if I can finally play it, people kept hyping it up because I love Digimon World 1. So the PSP Classic will be coming to Switch and to PC in February, so I'll be checking it out as soon as it drops so I can finally try out this fantastic game. Another very important piece of news here that was also teased when that was announced is that multiple Digimon game projects are being worked on over at Bandai Namco. All these projects are told to be for the Switch and the PC, which makes sense when you look at the success that Survive had on both of these platforms. With Survive having a lot of sales in North America, Japan, like all over the world on those two platforms, especially on the Switch, the game performing well on those platforms makes sense that Digimon is something that Bandai is looking at as maybe a more valuable property now. But other than that, I'm excited. Are you excited for Digimon World Next Order or any other Digimon games? I am. I'm a big fan. I love it. So, you know, if you want to talk about it, comment section below. Next up, more Fire Emblem Engage news. I know every time I do one of these, I have to bring up Fire Emblem, but Fire Emblem is one of my favorite series of all time, and there's a new game coming up, and they keep dropping stuff, so I'm going to talk about it. First and foremost, they are bringing back the weapon triangle. It's official. It's said. We knew about it. We had seen the screenshots, the gameplay, but now it's official. It's back. So I have it here up on the screen right now. The classic one, sword breaks, axe breaks, spear, and spear breaks sword. That's your classic one right there. And then martial arts. It's not a weapon triangle. That is martial arts having a distinct advantage over daggers, bows, and books, and so spells. That second one is very interesting because it doesn't seem like there's anything that counteracts martial arts, but I guess we'll see. I guess they'll release more stuff in that vein later on. However, what is interesting here is the break system. Apparently, how it's going to work is when you use the weapon triangle advantage, you will be able to break your opponent, which means it won't be able to counterattack you. Yeah, the enemy will not get a counterattack until the next turn on you, so you'll be able to use that weapon triangle to its advantage. It's going to make it a little bit more useful because a lot of things that happened in Fire Emblem was people would leave the weapon triangle in the trash for later on in the portions of the game because, you know, yes, you had your advantage, but if your units were really well, like stats, and they were really OP, you just kind of run through your bet with your better ones, and you know, you try to think about it a little bit, but in the later levels of some of the games, it would become not obsolete, but less thought about. So I guess it's a way to make sure that it becomes a major part of your strategy throughout the entire gameplay loop. However, might be a little bit broken. We'll see how it works within the confines of the game. Some people have noted that the wording says can break, so it can trigger the break. And again, that might be reading a little bit too much into semantics. I think we'll have to wait and see, because yes, maybe the wording says can and it's really like a percentage chance to break, and sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does, or maybe it's every time. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Other than that, they dropped a new character profile for Chloe, the Lance Pegasus. The reason I brought it up is because I think the wording there on her class is interesting. Lance Pegasus. If you've played a Fire Emblem game before, you know that Pegasus Knights are usually lance and sometimes swords. When they get a promotion, they often get swords, sometimes, depending on the game, but it's majorly a lance-based character. So there's no point in mentioning lance unless they're doing like they did with Cav units, what they did in Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, where Cav units had not a proficiency, but like some were axe cavaliers or axe knights or axe paladins, or sword paladins and stuff like that. So maybe they're bringing that back, but for lance for Pegasus units. So maybe we're going to see a wider diversity of types of Pegasus units, which would make sense. If you do it for horsemen, why not do it for Pegasus? All of that, again, all that translation comes from Serene Forest, because it does drop on the Fire Emblem Twitter, the Japanese one, but I can't read Japanese, so I usually go for Serene Forest, who helps me out a lot with that. So good on them. Good job, guys. Before we get into our major item, we have a little bit of Trails news. So Legend of Heroes Trail into Reverie will be coming out in the West for the first time in 2023. They released the pre-orders for limited editions, which we can see at about $100 USD. You have the limited edition, which includes a steelbook, soundtrack, art book, and even a kind of soft cover novel. That's a really cool extra goodie. It looks like it's a very worth it limited edition for the Switch and PS5. Or you can get an even higher edition at $190 about-ish, where you get the plushies with it. You get 3 different plushies of the main characters of the game. So that's kind of interesting. I thought I'd mention it. And on top of that, they dropped an opening movie trailer. I don't know if that was out beforehand. It was the first time I saw it, but it looks really cool. You follow these, you're going to follow Lloyd Bannings and the protagonist from Cold Steel, plus the mysterious C character, which we don't know much about. The opening cinematic trailers for Trails always look great. I can't wait to see how the game looks, how the game feels. But, I'm excited. So thumbs up with that. And finally, our main story. One of the most anticipated JRPGs of our era. Final Fantasy XVI got a trailer 10 days ago. Yes, I know we're behind on the news here, but we do them when we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. I am so excited. I just watched the trailer before recording this. It looks insane. It mentioned summer of 2023, and a thing that I thought was interesting, especially if you watch the trailers, at the end they said a war of the icons. And if you watch the trailer, you can see clearly that some characters can kind of channel powers and kind of get like just a boost up, and they kind of it's very odd, but it's going to be on the screen right now, where the characters can kind of channel the power of some types of monsters, maybe those icons. So maybe that's what the base idea of the game is in, especially it mentions the crystals a lot. Maybe those crystals have something to do with it. It looks really good. It looks really good. The combat system looks more dynamic. I thought it looked really nice. Really just more dynamic, akin to Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm really, really excited because the game looks dark, gritty. Seems to be a darker spin on it, and it's pitting these 5 different nations against one another in what seems to be like an epic war. I think they're going back to very much a fantasy setting a little bit more, where there's a big calamity to probably hit the land, and we're seeing the ramifications of that with these icons, the crystals, and all these 5 nations fighting. And I cannot wait to see where they go with Final Fantasy XVI. This game is gonna be something else. I am gonna jump on it the moment I get a chance to. So that was about it for the JRPG News Corner. I'd like to thank you all for watching. What did you guys enjoy the most about today? Which game are you going to pick up? Let me know down in the comment section below. Other than that, leave a like if you like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. Helps me out a ton. And yeah, just have a great time. Stay awesome. Stay frosty. And I'll catch you JRPG lovers in the next one. Thanks for watching, and love you all very much. Bye-bye.